It's okay. It's okay. Take a deep breath. You had a surgery. You've been under anesthesia, but you're okay. We're gonna get you out of here.
What? What's going on?
Well, you had an event, and we had to operate, but you're gonna be okay.
Why is my rear end killing me?
We had to perform an emergency intracranial rectal removal, and the worst part is, this has been happening a lot. This is the second time you've been in the hospital because your head has been up your ass. I need to ask you something. Are you a Democrat?
Yeah, of course I am.
Okay.
I was in the Union about 20 years ago.
Okay. Oh, slow down. We don't want that head to go back up there. All right? This happens a lot with liberals. Your beliefs and the way you vote affects the way your head relates with your butthole. And it'll just go right up there and block reality.
But we gotta be loyal and no matter what.
Whoa, shush. It'll happen right as I'm sitting here. It's not pleasant to watch. So I want you to take a look at this. That is the Constitution. Now look at it, read it, and that's going to affect the way you see the world. Welcome aboard. I'm also going to write you a prescription for a couple of old Ronald Reagan speeches.
Too funny. Jared, I don't know where that video came from. I just came across it on one of the social media platforms. So, we always like to give attribution for the clips we find, but I just thought, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Hey, Mike, do you think that's covered under Obamacare?
Probably it would have to be, wouldn't it? Because the chief head up his butt guy.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the only good thing about Obamacare. It covers your liberalism, because you need your trans surgeries and all that. It's all that nonsense.
Yeah. So, guys, happy Labor Day. We're here with y'all on Labor Day, coming to you. We just wanted to make more of a lighthearted day today because we know everybody's kind of got the day off. So hopefully you got some time to spend with your family. That's definitely what I try to do when we have a day off. Hopefully you have some time to just decompress and unwind a little bit. I know for me, I'm definitely making a point to get some rest. That's what I've needed.
Yeah, same thing for me. And also, if you live in New Jersey, it started this week, local summer. This is when all the people from out of state leave, and we have the beaches to ourselves for about a week and a half, and we really enjoy it.
Oh, how does that work, Jared? Everybody from out of state leaves, so they just come and stay there all summer, or what?
Yeah, they come there and stay all summer. We call them shoebies and bennies. And they come down and they hang out, and you can always spot them out because they have their giant carts. They just don't look like locals. But, we appreciate you guys coming down and supporting the Jersey Shore. But we also love it when you guys leave.
Oh, that's funny. Where are they coming from?
Oh, New York, especially New York. They love coming out here for the summer. And then they come out down here in PA and New England to look at the leaves. And then they're called leafers. We appreciate the tourism, but again, it's a lot better going to the beach when no one's there because you can enjoy yourself instead of having you're in Cali. You guys have people there constantly.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing about Cali, especially like the LA area, is during summer, actually, and I don't live in LA. I couldn't handle living in LA. Good grief. That's such a mess on so many levels. But LA, because I go down there a lot, or used to, not as much anymore, but I used to go down there a lot for business and sales and stuff. And LA actually, because it's such a big college town, it actually gets less people during the summer, or at least less traffic. I say that, and because when I would be driving for work and for business and for sales and stuff, there's always a lot of times it was backed up because all the college kids.
Wow, I didn't know that. I thought, that was the go-to place for the summer. I thought it was just like the Jersey Shore. Like people come from all over here for the Jersey Shore for the summer. And again, Labor Day is great around here. It's the last it's the last time you really get to enjoy all the summer things that they have here, like the aquarium, the amusement parks, the rides. But summer's, but fall's coming in. So I know you don't really have like a fall season in California. Wait, do you got no? So we'll have some apple cider, some apple picking, all sorts of great things coming up, guys. So,
We do get the PSL. Pumpkin spice lattes, all the pumpkin flavors. We definitely get that. I had one the other day, pumpkin cream cold brew. But the thing is, like in not Bakersfield, in California in general, at least Southern California, Central and Southern California, it's kind of like always summer, so it's always good. So like Jersey, I think probably in the wintertime and in the fall time, like you guys have your seasons, so like it's not warm in the wintertime, no one's going to the beach, but out here the summertime people are still going to the beach.
Yeah, we don't have it. Only people who go to the beach in the winter times are the surfers. I give a whole bunch of respect because it's like 0 degrees out there and they're surfing, they're hitting these waves, and they're really enjoying it too because, again, it's just them out there. So, it's awesome. And guys, take some time for yourselves. Take some time for your family. Go see a movie. Go enjoy your local economy. Hit up a farmer's market. Do something to give back. If you got time to, get some time to give back. It's a great day to volunteer with your church. Go to the beach and clean up some trash. We always have to give back in these ways.
Yeah, well, that's both of us, like our entire lives and careers are built around service, Jarrett. That's kind of like how we've always been. I mean, your entire from military on was all about service, and I didn't actually ever join the armed forces, but I definitely thought about it. There were some reasons why I didn't, which I'm not going to get into here, but. So we're going to be talking today all about kind of the past summer, the things that have gone on. We're gonna bring in a lot of video to share with you guys. We're gonna kind of have some fun today. So we're gonna just get into it. We're gonna try to be a little less serious because I sometimes I do take life pretty serious, but we have to have fun at times too. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about all the things that have gone on from the Trump assassination attempt, the DNC, RNC, the immigration gang, Zuckerberg, the Trump endorsements, and a little bit potentially on Israel and Hamas. So we're going to talk about a lot of different things, but we're just going to try to make it a little more lighthearted.
Yep, have a lot of fun, guys. We're going to just talk about all things that happened this summer. In case you missed anything, you obviously you didn't miss the assassination attempt, but there's a whole bunch of other stuff you might have missed. But also you might not have heard it from a conservative point of view. If you just constantly watch MSNBC or the liberal media, like some of our trolls are doing, guys, thank you for watching again. Shout out to all our trolls. You guys might, again, I always say this to the trolls, continue to watch because one day you go from a troll to a conservative, and then it's going to be really fun. You're really going to enjoy it, and it's also a lot more fun than being a liberal. Mike, you see it all the time. They never smile. They're always angry. You guys got Little John and Kenan Thompson, all these people at your DNC, and you guys all left with frowns. Like how can that be a sad time?
Well, what
he's got killed, but I mean a sad time for the attendees.
What I think is funny is you see the ones that are the most vocal. The trolls a lot of times are the ones that are at least trying to think a little bit, and that's why they're being vocal, because they actually care. They're just a little bit misguided, and if that's you, that's okay to that you're misguided. Keep watching the show, and we'll set you straight. But a lot of times those are the ones that end up coming over to conservative because they're actually using their brains and thinking.
Yeah, that's so true because, again, they might be a free thinker, but, again, they're so misguided, like you said, from indoctrination from school, from their liberal friends, their liberal parents, all these liberal celebrities. I mean, it's just like you're constantly inundated 24/7 with this nonsense. So I love seeing a strong conservative kid because that's going against the grain right now. That's being a real rebel. To me, it's so funny that all these kids, and all these, especially the ones that are into punk music and punk bands, are so establishment. I thought you're supposed to be the anti-establishment. When I was growing up, you listen to Newfound Glory, Saves Today, you listen to all those type of bands. You're rocking out like, oh, stop the establishment, bring down blah, 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 all that nonsense, right? And now you're like, oh, more government. Yeah, censor us more, silence us. You guys are cheering for that. Yeah, let's segregate me Yeah, put me in an all black room. Yeah, like what? What is this nonsense?
Well, the Republicans have become the new, almost like the new cool kids, because they're the new anti-establishment. I wouldn't say anti-government as much, but just like anti-rules. They're definitely not what's the word, anarchists, but we're definitely for some law and order, but only so much, only enough to keep us safe, right? Not so much as to keep our entire lives in order. When I say keep us safe, I'm not talking about this words as violence bullcrap either. But yeah, it's we're the what the Democrats were seen as 30 years ago, the conservatives are now, and so we're the free thinkers. It's interesting how that's kind of switched.
Yeah, it really is. It's just like it's funny because the Democrats always claim to be the free thinkers, or the party of progress, the party of the party for the minorities. But if you actually go through their history, they're none of those things. They're the party of segregation. They're the party of racism. They're the party of Jim Crow. They're the party of Biden and Harris. Just a party of awful individuals. And again, guys, like I always said, this is for educational purposes only. If you want to share these information, we're just sharing to you how we feel about things and how we, but also we want to hear how you feel too. So drop us some lines in the comments. We'll try to get to you. If we don't get to you this episode, we'll get to you the next one.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We do interact with. I think we do a decent job, Jared, interacting with our viewers here. But if you guys are there, make sure and leave a comment. We want to hear from you. We want to interact with you. We do share your stuff on the show. So and also speaking of sharing, share our stuff as well. Share us with somebody you think might want to hear just a different take. Christian conservative take on some of the things, but also be bringing you the truth at the same time. We don't sugarcoat things, but we do like to have fun. So make sure to follow us on all the social media platforms. You can go follow me on X, formerly Twitter, at Real Mike Harvey. You can follow us on Instagram at 511 Media Group, and So also want to give a quick shout out to one of our several, Jared, we're growing our sponsorship program.
We sure cool. are. We're linking up with some great companies.
Yeah. And you know what? It's not just sponsorships, but it's actual partnerships, because we like working with companies that we share values with, but also companies that, it's deeper than just we're bringing a product to you because here's a product that we can make some money on. We're bringing you products because I talk to, as the CEO of 511 Media Group, I talk to every single one of our sponsors, owners, and make sure that we have alignment in values as a company first, and then if that's there, and I feel comfortable supporting and promoting what they're doing to our team internally and our audience, then we also share what's going on with you guys and bring those products to you, because I think it is important that we're building a parallel economy, Jarrett.
Yeah, I think so. I love that when companies that align partner together, because there's so many wicked companies out there who their whole goal is just to make money or to push evil agendas. We got some companies out there that are willing to lose money to push this LGBT agenda, to push this quote unquote new world order, to push this one world government, to push this single currency, to push all this stuff that your quote unquote conspiracy theory friends are talking about. And this is what they're trying to push. So I'm so glad that we partner with Covenant Coffee. It's a great company, and and I love, Mike, how you actually sit down and talk to people. The 511 Media Group is not about the money. It's not about accolades and being famous. It's actually about putting out good information and making the world a better place. So, we need companies like this. And if we can do this, that means everyone else can do the same.
Yeah. So, guys, Covenant Coffee has been our probably longest time sponsor. They are located in Bakersfield, California, but you can find them online at covenantcoffee.org. They actually produce great coffee on top of it, but they have a great mission of supporting the emancipated foster youth and providing them jobs and opportunity and mentorship, because these are the kids that people forget about, because once they get out of the foster system, they're not revenue producers for people anymore. The system forgets about them. System doesn't care about them because, hey, you're out on your own. You're 18 years old. Suck it up. A lot of times they end up becoming the homeless and human trafficked and drug abusers and all of those things. So go check out covenantcoffee.org. They're helping to eliminate that, at least in our corner of the world, from that section of our society. Also, speaking of companies and values that we believe in, we got an event that Jared and I are both going to be at coming up real soon that I'm frankly excited about. Jared, I think we need to do an episode of like top 10 reasons to go to AmFest. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think so. AmFest is amazing, guys. You're going to love the video. That was my first major event with Turning Point when I came on the team, and I was just blown away. I always wanted to go, and my first time going out behind the scenes, and man, it's the video is amazing, but it doesn't do the event any justice. You have to go in person to see exactly what we're talking about.
Oh yeah, because the video is fun. It's an engaging video. We share it practically every day here, but the event is way more fun, and they have concerts and other things going on at the same time. You get to meet a lot of really cool people that share our values and beliefs. But Darius, let's roll that video.
What you represent, your presence here, at the largest multi-day event in conservative grassroots history, is a message that will be heard by these people.
Phoenix, Arizona, people from all over the country.
It's remarkable because it brings everybody
One of
together.
my favorite of the year.
Energy, let us want you to see it.
The stakes are high. We have only begun to fight.
So, guys, I don't know how much longer they're going to be running the promotion for early bird registration. I don't know if you know, Jared. If you do, let's share it. But right now, they got 50% off of your ticket price, which is the best deal you're going to get, by the way, unless you get some other special deal, which is only going to be by like a giveaway or something like that. That the likelihood of you getting is slim to none. But guys, you're going to have a great time out there in Phoenix, Arizona. All of 511 is going to be there. All the Turning Point, Faith, Blexit, all those guys are going to be there. And these are people that I've had the privilege of getting to know personally very well. All of them are very genuine people. Love the whole crew over there. And you guys are going to have a great time. There's a lot of other companies that are going to be there. Some of our sponsors that we're going to be bringing some new sponsors to you very, very soon as well that are just as in line with our brand as Covenant Coffee, as Turning Point is. So yeah, you guys aren't going to want to miss amfest.com. Go check out your tickets. And then we also have another event coming up in just a couple of weeks, less than 2 weeks away at this point. Jarrett.
Yeah, guys, we have an amazing event coming. The Blexit Night of Faith happens all across the country, and the next one is in Philadelphia, PA. It takes place in Light Church from 5 to 7 p.m. We're going to have some more amazing speakers: Pierre Wilson, Madeline Brame, Pastor Lorenzo Sewell. You saw this guy at the RNC. He always brings the fire. I'm going to be there. Mike's going to be there. Renata, 511, Pierre. It's going to be some amazing people, some great praise and worship music, and also some amazing Philly food. So if you've never been to Philly, you should come check it out. And if you love giving back to the community, you should definitely come see what Blexit is all about.
Yeah, I love Blexit and the people of Blexit, and I've been honored to get to know so many of the Blexit. And Jarrett, you kind of came through Blexit as well, but and some of our team, including Jarrett, has multiple members of our team have come through Blexit. But I love what they stand for, and it's not just so dispel the myth. It's not just Black Exit. That's what Blexit stands for. But it's not just people of color that is for and about. 511 is very involved with it, and you can tell by looking. I'm not one of those people. But guys, the mission they stand for, they're doing some great things in the community across the country. Pierre Wilson's built a phenomenal organization that is just impacting the minority communities, but also the impoverished communities and areas literally in every state across the U.S.
Yeah, it's all about breaking free from the victimhood mentality. So Blexit initially launched, it was all about, breaking free from the Black people. But then we realized this mentality affects all cultures. Every culture is told that they're a victim. Every culture is told they have to depend on the government. It's all about entrepreneurship to escape government dependency. It's about American history, but before slavery. It's about backing the blue. There's so many things that Blexit's about. They're a pro-life organization, but my favorite thing, hands down, is their grassroots activists. The largest minority grassroots activist group in the entire country. And when I say they have hundreds of activism days a month, I mean it. You can look it up for yourself. They're all across the country. And if you're interested in joining yourself, we'll drop the link to join in the comments, but you guys should definitely check it out. One of the best groups I like is Blexit PA, the ones who's helping with this event. If you know about Philly, they're in Kingston all the time, talking to those people who are disheveled, who are on drugs, giving them hope bags instead of those crack bags that Biden was passing out. You got Madeline in New York who's giving away literally a truckload of jackets. And it's not a give out, it's a hand up. So if you need something, like we give out turkeys, why do you need a turkey? So next time around, we'll figure it out. You need job training? Okay. You need help investing? You need help budgeting? Okay, we'll help that. So next year.
Starting a business?
Yeah, starting a business. So you don't need the turkey. You could be the person giving the turkey. Because that's what it's all about. Because America is Americans. You guys need hand ups, not handouts. Look at the Black community. When we had these handouts, it stifled us. And now they're giving the same handouts to everyone. And it's just going to make your communities worse and worse.
Yeah, it's about empowerment, not frankly, I think I can use the word Jarrett, enslavement, because I think slavery of the mind and mental manipulation. Yeah,
like what did Bob Marley say? Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. No one but Jah is God for them can free your mind, is the truth. We are on these mental plantations, and the gate's open, guys. It's in front of you. There's an open field. You can run for it. But right now you're scared to cross that line because you're scared not to be part of the in crowd, But look at the in crowd. Like, Mike, look how weird they are. Like, the DNC, like, you see how awful that DNC is? And they have the nerve to call us weird, but they want to sacrifice babies beforehand. They want to tell you that a man could be a woman. They want to tell you, and it's funny because they literally attack themselves at these events. And if you look at the hierarchy of the event itself, you had all the poor people on the ground, and you had $500,000 balcony seats for the rich elite and looking down upon everybody. And trust me, guys, those Oprahs, those Michelle Obamas look down upon you. You are crap compared to them. Yeah. There were billionaires and millionaires saying, don't touch the rich man. They're the rich man. I mean, I'm sorry. That was a conspiracy. She's the rich woman.
I mean, they contradict themselves and they're full of hypocrisy all the time. In fact, let's see what I call this like their chief water carrier. That is always in there, but like I'm surprised at some point to see this guy running for office, right? But Darius, I think you know what clip we're alluding to. Go ahead and bring it up.
They had a guy yelling, "Screw the billionaires," followed immediately by a very happy billionaire. It's all okay if it's our billionaire. Guys making fun of people for going to Yale, and a bunch of people who went to Yale. The Democrats had people who prosecuted sexual predators and There goes that booking.
Yeah, so that was again another funny video. We're having fun today. So, the interesting to see Jon Stewart, again, their chief water carrier, speaking, like, making fun of DNC, making fun of the liberals, and to see some of these guys, like, I wonder how long is it going to be before even Jon Stewart crosses over to conservatism. I think that'd be hilarious. Like, they're just losing people because they're just so far left that they're like, you see Bill Maher, Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, all these guys that are like, well, they're liberal. Wait, what? They're racist. They're part of the MAGA. Well, they weren't.
You know what it was, Mike? It's funny that they all put down their joints for a second and sat back and like, well, I'm not high for a minute, so let me look at this. Wow, look all this crap that's going on. Because you have to be high 24/7 to actually fall for all this nonsense they're saying, and not weed. I'm talking about the serious stuff. That's the stuff that the stuff that quote unquote that they can't stop from crossing over the border, which is for me, it's like if all these kids are dying from fentanyl and it's coming from quote unquote allegedly coming from China and our enemies, I figured that'd be the first thing you want to stop, right? But according to one of the interviews that we had, you guys need to go back and check it, that they're all making money off this stuff, which is mind blowing. How the left makes money off of our destruction, and we don't even know it, and it's just shameful. And the DNC, they might have had a good time. They had Little John. They lied about Beyonce coming, just to get people hyped up. But at the end of the day, like, they didn't talk about anything. In the first 2 days, in the first day, they mentioned Trump 147 times. That's insane. Like, where's your platform? I know you could have mentioned the border at least once in those times, but everything was Trump and Trump 2025. They even printed a giant book. You saw the giant book that they had?
Uh-huh.
It was huge. You're like, oh, this is 2025. Ooh, it's scary. Ooh, the book's going to get you. Like, it just shows how ignorant they think we are, because some of you people, especially on the left, are scared like this. I see when I go to the airport, Mike, I know you see it. You'll see somebody with 4 masks, a face shield, gloves, like scrubs, taped down like they're going to surgery, or it's like a chemical attack. When Fauci even himself say masks don't work. Like, you know what? I trusted him every other time, but I'm not going to trust him now because, I feel comfortable and safe. And it's all about being comfortable. And I think that's the problem we have now. We are so comfortable with the nonsense, we're not saying anything.
Yeah, well, I think it's the funniest one I see is when someone's driving in a car by themselves and they got a mask on. I was like, "Who are you? What? Huh? You're protecting yourself, not from the people that are in your car. That are you hallucinating? What's going on? It doesn't make any sense. And meanwhile, and I think. This was one that I struggle with. You remember the first big thing that Biden and Kamala did? Do you remember what it was, Jarrett?
No, when they got into office. Besides, no, what was that?
The first big move they made was the Afghanistan debacle.
Oh yes, that was awful, man. That was so horrible. I had friends in the military who were reaching out to me and asking me, did I still have people over there, new interpreters? Because they left them hanging. They just left those people to die. We saw people on the side of airplanes hanging on for dear life. And then they have the nerve to say Biden has the nerve to say, I wouldn't change anything. You wouldn't change anything? Like, you wouldn't change all these unnecessary deaths? You wouldn't change leaving some of our allies behind? You wouldn't change giving them so much material that they had a parade? And honestly, it was a pretty nice parade too. They had helicopters. It was scary part is they're so in sync. They were flying those machines. They were so in sync with them because guess what? We trained them. They were some of our allies. We gave them the training. And come on, Biden, you didn't realize after what happened with in the 80s, like in Iran, we went through the same thing. And again, we keep training our enemies to destroy us. We keep leaving open borders so our enemies can walk right in, and we do it in the sake of progression. We're not progressing anywhere in the right direction. We're progressing right to hell, and they can care less because they're making their money along the way. So they're like, hey, if I burn when I die, who cares? As long as I got money now, and I can't live like that.
Yeah, and what is interesting is Biden, Harris. First of all, Harris said I was in the room during that decision, so she's going to bring change by bringing the same thing and the same policies. But the big thing, I am in support of their campaign slogan. They're not going back. They're not going back to the White House. But they never visited any of the 13 families that died because of their idiocy. I don't think you can call it anything but idiocy. They never visited them. They never did anything to help them out. And they had a funeral the other day, a big service for the 13 fallen members, and they invited. I want to make a point to say this. They invited Trump and asked him to come, and asked him to bring their photographers and videographers to document what was going on, and they were privileged to have him there. And then you got all the lefties, all the liberals, or all the wokies, as our friend Viv likes to say. Shout out to our friend Vivian, they are just trashing on Trump, saying, hey, it's just a publicity stunt, PR stunt, and meanwhile, all the families are saying, no, that we wanted him here, we invited him here, and here's what J.D. Vance had to say on the issue.
But to have those 13 Americans lose their lives and not fire a single person is disgraceful. Kamala Harris is disgraceful. We're going to talk about a story out of those 13 brave, innocent Americans who lost their lives. It's that Kamala Harris is so asleep at the wheel that she won't even do an investigation into what happened, and she wants to yell at Donald Trump because he showed up. She can go to hell.
Well, I think she's doing a darn good job of heading that way, isn't she?
Yeah, she just got to go back to the house she came from down there. I think that's where she was. It's just such a travesty.
Allegedly,
allegedly, she came from down there. We don't know. I'm not a geologist, so I don't know what's down there. Where she came from. But seriously, it's such a travesty that she tried to say that Trump was there for happy snaps. The same woman who sat there and put hot sauce on her collard greens at a soul food place, the same party that had AOC crying at a fence saying, "Oh, these poor migrant kids," when that facility was completely empty. Or even when I saw myself. So if you guys familiar with Menendez, you probably know him. They call him Gold Bar Menendez now. When I was working against him on the campaign, he did an event right in front of an empty detainment center and pretended that it was full of people. And then he had his Rainbow Coalition. He had blacks, whites, Hispanics, Jewish people. He even had a gay Catholic female priest there. All sorts of people behind him to take this picture of this false narrative they're trying to push. And when Trump actually goes somewhere, when someone invites him, they say that he's awful. He doesn't care. This man cares for America. This man loves this country. He loves it so much that he's willing to die for it. Because let's be real, 99% of us, if somebody would have shot us in the middle of work, besides Trump and Roosevelt, everyone else would have quit. It's like, I'm done. I have millions and millions of dollars. I don't need to risk my life. I want to see my grandkids grow up. This guy said, no, I'm going to put my fist up high. I'm going to say, fight, 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 and I'm going to continue to fight. I love seeing a leader that loves to fight the battle as well.
Well, I think it's interesting. A lot of the stuff that's starting to come out, and allegedly there was more involved in the shooting, more people behind it, and I'm saying allegedly because we got to say that for social media. But there was allegedly a bigger plot here and more going on. And in fact, we got more info that Dan Bongino brought to us the other day.
But there was also this part where Eli Crane talks about the explosives. I had initially heard they were basic, nothing that advanced. That's not what he heard. This adds a whole nother layer on the who the hell was the shooter working with angle. Listen to this.
One of the gentlemen who's coming in to talk with us today, Ben Schaefer, he was one of the counter sniper guys here. He was telling me that the explosives, he was talking to some of the guys, the local guys, the EOD guys that looked at the explosives, did reports on the explosives. to Corey's point, said that these explosives and the pictures that I saw of these explosives, Dan, where they were built in ammo cans, but they were actually pretty advanced. From guys that have, years and years of experience, who come across explosives all the time, homemade explosives, say, hey, we're actually really surprised at the complexity of these explosives, which leads, a rational thinker to believe that this 20-year-old kid with no military experience, with no, history online or history that's been scrubbed and wiped, might have been getting help.
Folks, who the hell was this guy working with?
Yeah. That's crazy. I don't believe the whole lone wolf theory. It's nearly impossible for anyone to pull off anything by themselves in America, especially have no social media presence. And also, in order to make, again, when I was in the military, everyone had to teach classes, and I used to give the classes on IED identification, right? Some of these I don't know if I can say that word, think they go boom. Some of these boomy things, they're so simple, but they're extremely complex. But they had to learn it from somebody. They have to either learn it from the internet or from a book. They're not just going to know how to do this stuff themselves. So if they're very complex things, he had to be working with someone allegedly, or someone had to be influencing him. And again, we have so many people who, foreign and domestic, that hate President Trump that could be right there helping this kid along. And the sad part is, this kid could just have been a scapegoat. He could have been. They always look for the kids who are picked on. The kids are looking for a family. The same thing the gangs do. We'll talk about gangs in a little bit. But the same things the gangs do, if we look for recruits, they look for the kids that are hurting, who look for a family. It's so easy to find a kid like that and manipulate him to do whatever you want. And in a day and age when evil reign is reigning and trying to run us Christians out of America, I guarantee someone can influence a kid like that and say, "Hey, come shoot at Trump because you're saving the day. You're going to be a hero." Because when they say he's a Nazi and they say he's evil and he's the Antichrist and he's evil incarnate, a good moral person, quote unquote, is going to strike that down. And a good moral person, quote unquote, who has mental issues is definitely going to want to do something. And Mike, this is insane. I think this kid is awful. He got what he deserved, but I think there's still some people in the background who are biding their time. It makes it dangerous for Trump, makes it dangerous for all of us because we lost someone else there. Not Trump didn't die, but someone who just loved this country, a firefighter, a father, shielding his children, died because of some jerk and possibly some other people.
Yeah, well, it's I definitely can say that the rhetoric that has come out of the liberal media, the liberal politicians, have had an effect, has impacted the way people think, and I believe influenced, at very minimum, influenced this kid. And but there's a lot of questions that are remaining around that particular issue, like why did they get rid of the body so quick? Why did they clean up the area so quick? Why did they do a lot of things? Why wasn't there more Secret Service there? There's so many questions, and so now we have Jarrett. You can correct me if I'm off base here, but we have the person who was actually in charge of the Secret Service detail running the Secret Service, because the person who was running the Secret Service, who should have been, was fired. But now the person who was actually in charge of the people that were on the ground there is the person in charge of the Secret Service. So there's way too many questions left over. And the thing is, I think many people will agree that Trump is pro-America. He's fighting for America. He's fighting for our values. Whether you like him personally or not, we're not electing a pastor. But I do think that he's a far better person than what people give us credit for. I think that he's done a lot of good things in his life. And I know personally, as a business owner, that not everybody likes you as a business owner. Not everybody likes me. I don't care if everybody likes me. I don't want to be liked. I want to be loved or hated. I would rather, as the Bible says, God says, if you're lukewarm, I'll spit you out of my mouth. I'd rather you be hot or cold. And Trump, I don't think gets enough credit for some of the good things he's done. And we have an example from some years ago of some of the good that he's done. So let's go.
It was unbelievable.
Great going, Jack, and terrific. Yes.
I've been waiting a very long time to answer this.
This sounds like trouble.
And I just want to know if the story is true or not. You were traveling to Atlantic City, and your limo broke down. Husband and wife pulled up behind, and the husband basically said, I'm going to help him out. So he helped out the limousine, and a week later, the husband and wife received the deed to their house paid off. Was that a true story?
It's true. It's true.
It's awesome. That just goes to show what type of man he is. A great man.
You think they want something like that airing now, Jared?
No, they don't. They want to perpetuate this lie about Trump. See, the Trump I remember is the Trump from The Apprentice, the Trump from Home Alone 2. Helping little Kevin McAllister get home. The Trump I remember is every single rapper of some substance saying, I'm the black Donald Trump. Let's be like Trump. Trump and Ivanka. Like, they all wanted to be Donald Trump. Trump hanging out with Jesse Jackson. Trump actually being loved on by Oprah. I mean, The View, I literally thought Joy Behar wanted to be his next wife the way she was when he was on. And now that same guy that was one of your friends, you guys say it's the devil. You guys say it's evil. And there's certain people calling it out. There's this rapper named Nas, right? He's not very political. He would be more like a Dr. Umar type of character, but he's even calling out the hypocrisy. He said it's wrong to saying, how do you call Trump Hitler when he never did a genocide? How do you constantly keep misleading black folks to just vote for Kamala when she doesn't do anything? So you see all these people are starting to wake up, and I love seeing people who, quote unquote, aren't your regular political types. Not me, Mike, not you, the guys who are like, if you see them, you wouldn't think they knew anything about politics. But once they start talking, they know so much because people don't give them the chance because they're not part of, as you say for the left, they're not part of the cool kids. They're not in the in crowd. So they get pushed out and they end up joining the Conservative Party. Look at two former cool kids who are now with us are RFK and Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, they were for the left, just like so many other people like myself, that we left this Democratic plantation because we found something better, or in their case, how the party left them. And Mike, being yourself being a conservative your whole life, I'd love to see your take on it. So when you have somebody who's a brand new conservative, like, how does the Conservative Party treat them? Do they embrace them? Do they push them aside? Do they hold them accountable for their past action? Or they're just like, hey, welcome to the team?
Well, I know I can't speak for everybody. I can speak for the people around me, and I can speak for myself. Most of the people around me are Christian also, so that does come into play. And I think that the majority of Christians that are active, at least in politics, whether that means they have an opinion or voting or whatever. I'm not talking about politicians. I'm talking about just regular everyday people. Most Christians are conservative, so that does play a factor. I'm not even saying most conservatives are Christian, although I think if we looked at the stats that might be a possibility as well. But I think that because we're open to things. Jared, I've had conversations, and I remember, like I said, I've always been a conservative. I remember having conversations with openly gay people, with openly, liberal people, with people that had different ideologies, and even them. Like, of course, I'm going to embrace somebody who's a brother, but even with the liberals, I'm like, hey, let's have a conversation because I don't agree with you. I don't agree with your lifestyle, or I don't agree with your beliefs, or where you stand, or how you vote. But we can be civil human beings, and I will still be that way to this day. And of course, that one of those examples was something like 20 years ago. But for me, that hasn't changed. And I think as Christians, we're called to love people. And are we going to bring people to Christ by hating them for thinking a certain way or for living a certain way, even when they're not even Christian? They don't fall under the same biblical standards that we do. So, I absolutely embrace them. And I know you do too, Jared. And I know all of our team and our extended Turning Point, Blexit family, they all are like, no, let's have a civil conversation. You're wrong, but let's at least have a civil conversation. I don't hate you because you think differently than me. Now, to be fair, I think that there are a certain percentage of people who are liberals that are open-minded, that aren't hateful. I think the loud ones are the ones that are hateful, but the loud ones on our side are not hateful.
Yeah, that's true. They're not hateful at all. They're just very boisterous. And again, on every side, you have some extremes, fringe people who don't represent your party.
Sure.
So, but again, our side, we're not loud and hateful. I don't hate anybody. I might dislike what you do. I might hate the sin that you do. I might hate the actions that you're doing to the communities. But I don't hate you as a person. Like we had an interview earlier this week with Valerie. She mentioned that you don't hate the person, hate the sin. Try to redirect them. And then same thing with Dr. Tracy. You got to check out the interview too. She said no one's lost until they die. So I'm going to be praying for a lot of people. But no one especially be praying for now. I'm going to be praying for the people in is it Missouri or Michigan where the gangs are just taking over on some like Nino Brown.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the TDA in Aurora, Colorado.
Yeah, I'll be praying for those people in Colorado. I'll be praying for the people living in apartments. I'll be praying for those guys with the guns running down. But this is some straight 1990s New Jack City Nino Brown stuff. I haven't seen this stuff since I was watching some stuff on BET. Like, you're really running up on people's houses with guns and weapons, and then the news said nothing's happening. Really, nothing's happening. So these people are lying. These Ring cameras are fake. These gangs are just knocking on the door because they're selling candy bars to send money back to their home countries. No, they're robbing people, and this is an old thing they used to do in the 80s. A gang will set up an apartment complex, right? And then they'll buy the first floor apartments, and they'll start selling drugs, and then they'll start charging people, quote unquote, rent for protection. Or now they'll just say, oh, you live here, we own this apartment, you pay us the money. They don't care if you get kicked out, you owe them the money. And this is what's happening now. And this is an effect from our crazy border czar, who again, Mike, for some reason, I don't know if this is a Mandela effect. Do you remember her being a border czar? Because CNN tells me that never happened. And I think I might be going crazy because I could have sworn she was the border czar.
Yeah, and it's interesting you bring that up. We'll actually do a specific episode here in the near future, guys, on immigration. But yeah, no, there's unofficial documents documented that she was the border czar in official documents, and so the media trying to tell you that she wasn't or that she isn't, they're straight up lying to you and gaslighting you. No, she absolutely was. They said it all over the media. We have official documents stating that she was. So we'll be bringing all that to you in a future episode. But Jarrett, some of the effects of this, you were talking about the TDA gangs in Aurora, Colorado, and the craziness there. We actually have a clip. Let's bring that up. So they're going through and taking over this entire apartment complex, kicking people out of their apartments. But now, and there's multiple apartment complexes that they're basically owning. They don't actually own it. They didn't pay any money to obtain it, but the money from the people there are getting paid to them, and they're setting that up as their base of operations. And this isn't the only city that it's happening in, but it's happening in Aurora, Colorado, which is a suburb of Denver. And there's been little to no police involvement. There's been little to no police patrolling in those areas now because even the police are scared. Like, it's going to get to a point that when someone with an intelligent brain in their head gets into office, they're going to have to call in the National Guard because, I mean, it's beyond the point where police can even do anything about it at this point.
Yeah, you're right, Mike. It's taking place all across the country. And you live in California, and you've been there for a while. You know all about the gangs the fights between guys. We talk about everything here, pull no punches. the issues between the black and brown gangs. You know, that's heavy in California. And now it's taking place in New Jersey. There are areas where gangs would patrol like black gangs, and now the new immigrant gangs are coming and they're warring over territory. Which let me say to you, if you're watching this and you're in a gang, if you know someone's in a gang, stop dying over blocks that don't belong to you. You are dying over places that you rent. Fix it. But other than that, like it's just insane that they say this is not taking place, and and they say, oh, we need stricter gun laws, we need stricter gun rules. But obviously, these guys don't follow the rules of coming to this country, so why would they follow the gun rules? So I can't carry my weapon and protect my family, protect my home, but I can let this complete stranger, he's coming. They had AKs, they had like Glocks, all sorts of guns, come in my house and blow me away. And God forbid, I defend myself. And now, like where I live in Jersey, I defend myself. Now I'm going to jail. So you're coming to steal, kill, and rob for me. I take you down. Now I'm away from my family for 20 years. Like, where's the justice in that? There's no justice in that. And I guarantee you guys, when Kamala, if she gets in office, which we won't let happen, with people like me, people like Mike, and you loyal viewers, we won't let happen. But you guys got to realize, if she does get in office, it's going to be more of the same. You will be prosecuted. You will go to jail, and these criminals will run rampant, allegedly. The same person who said that illegal immigration is not a crime is going to be in charge and try to set rules in it. The same person who gave money to criminals who burnt down the city the state that Tampon Tim is from. That they're going to run everything, guys. Like, come on, let's be real. I understand you're caring. I understand that you love you love people and hippie love and all that nonsense. But Jesus wasn't a hippie, and you're not either. The 70s is over. Grow up, look outside your window, and realize that you need to change to fix what's happening. Like, Mike, how many years have the Dems been in power, but now it's already a time for change? It's insane.
Well, how do you change it doesn't even make sense that that's her campaign slogan. How do you change what's going on right now by keeping things the same? Like 1 + 1 = 2, not 5. It doesn't make sense. So they're saying they're for change, and they're not going to change anything because she's already in office. Let's change appearances. Let's change. I know what they're going to change. Let's change free speech. In fact, Kamala was the one who was behind Kamala Harris and Joe Biden were the ones behind the apology. Wasn't even an apology letter. It was just an admission of guilt of Mark Zuckerberg coming out recently, and we go ahead and play that video.
Did you see what Mark Zuckerberg just did? Did you see the letter that he just sent Jim Jordan and the House Judiciary Committee? If you haven't seen this, you need to see it. In a 1.5-page letter, Mark Zuckerberg, the head of Meta, just admitted to the House Judiciary Committee exactly what the Biden-Harris administration pressured them to do throughout the 2020 campaign and beyond. Here's the 3 things that Zuckerberg, in his letter, specifically cites that he was pressured to do. You can go read the entire letter yourself. It's about 1.5 pages long, but I'll pull out the 2 most important excerpts. So make sure that you pause it and you read that excerpt right there. It says, in 2021, senior officials from the Biden administration, including the White House, repeatedly pressured our teams for months to censor certain COVID-19 content, including humor and satire, and expressed a lot of frustration with our teams when we did not agree. And in a separate situation, the FBI warned them about a potential Russian disinformation operation about the Biden family and Burisma in the lead up to the 2020 election. That fall, when we saw a New York Post story reporting on corruption allegations involving then Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden's family, we sent that story to fact checkers to review and temporarily demoted it while waiting for a reply. It has since been made clear that the reporting was not Russian disinformation, and in retrospect, we shouldn't have demoted the story. He goes on later in that story to talk about the money that he donated, the Zuckerbucks, if you remember, during the 2020 election, and why he did it, and claiming he won't do it again. But the important question is, why now? Why is he admitting this now? Less than 3 months out from the next election, why is Mark Zuckerberg telling the world that he was pressured by the Biden-Harris administration to violate the First Amendment protected rights of the American people Why now? And more importantly, who else is the Biden-Harris administration pressuring to censor the American people?
So, what are they going to change? Potentially free speech, potentially the First Amendment, potentially the Second Amendment, potentially the Constitution. Yeah, they're for change, but not the kind of change that we want, not the kind of change you're thinking of.
Yeah, it's funny. You know, it's really funny to me. They do all that because they want to protect Hunter, and they're trying to win the election. But you didn't do anything for all this child pornography on social media. Like really, there's tons of child pornography. There's kids being trafficked. There's white slavery. And for the people who are not informed, doesn't mean white people who are slaves. This is sex trafficking. You know, not all slavery is like black people in chains. There's different types. But like they don't do anything about that. And that's just a serious, quote unquote, that's very serious. You know, there's kids that are being kidnapped constantly. You know, there's kids that are being tortured. There's just all sorts of stuff, and it's just freely flowing. You know, and then also constantly all the nudity. I mean, there's just tons of all this stuff on social media that's detrimental to ourselves. There's drug dealing. There's all sorts of things. But they don't shut that down. They let that stuff go to shut down a story that's true about Hunter. You know, like he's a grown man. Biden, you just got to stop fighting all these battles. You know, I understand as a father you want to protect your son, but this guy's willing to let the country burn, reign over the ashes to protect his crackhead son. Like, that's not right. You know, like I feel for people who have drug problems, you know, but at the end of the day, Biden, you have a commitment to this country, just like any other president. And this is where self-sacrifice comes into being in political office that we don't have anymore. Sometimes you have to, your own needs and want have to be put aside, and the country's needs and wants have to come first. It's hard, it's tough, but countless presidents have done it. Tons of people in office. Every last person who served in the military has done it. But you can't do it, Mr. Commander of the free world. Mike, this is just asinine. This is more trash from the left.
Yeah. You know, the thing is, and you're talking about all the stuff going on, and there's more behind what's going on with the Zuckerberg admission than just the surface level. Like anybody with half a brain can realize that. You know, and what could it be? Could it be that he might see the direction of the election siding? Could it be that there's more that he's worried about getting in trouble? We just had the Pavel Durov with Telegram that got arrested for potentially drug charges, drug running on their site, pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, other things. Jared, I just have to believe that there's something more behind that too, because we had a conversation internally with our team the other day. I don't know if you were part of it or not, but we were talking about how on that platform, the free speech is kind of running, and it's a platform that allows free speech. So is there stuff that goes on there that's potentially illegal, potentially illicit? I don't know, but I would venture to say that there's a good chance of it. But is there also stuff that goes on some of these other platforms? I would strongly believe that there would be. So why are they going after him and not going after the others?
I think because he sees the writing on the wall and also the impact that he has, and there is some more free speech. And also, like, if you ever seen Social Network and those type of movies and anything about him, this guy's all about self-preservation. He's the type that if this was the Titanic, he would dress like a woman and hop on the boat to get off while everybody else drowned, right? So guys like that, they're willing to throw anyone under the bus to protect themselves. At first, he's doing exactly what Biden and Harris were doing because allegedly it's probably lucrative for him. It probably worked for him. But now, as you say, Mike, he sees the writing on the walls. People are hip to what's going on. People understand propaganda. People understand omissions of the truth. We get this stuff now, so you can't do it anymore. So he doesn't want to lose his company. He wants to keep his assets. And also his whole metaverse thing failed miserably because no one wants to live in a virtual reality world 24/7. You know, even though that's the kind of world the liberals are trying to make to us. You know, everything is fake. You know, hey, that woman over there is a man. Hey, black guy, even though you have millions and millions of dollars in athletes, you're a victim. You know, hey, Mike, you have a company, and I would say like 95% of your on-air talent are minorities, but you're a racist because you're talking about conservative values. You know, this is asinine stuff they want to push to us and make us not believe our own eyes. You know, and And when we get stuff put in front of us, even this Mark Zuckerberg stuff, people are still trying to give the Biden team passes, give Harris passes. Oh, she was doing what's good for the country. It's okay. I'm willing to sacrifice my rights in order to not hear bad words. Really? You want to give up your freedom of speech because you're upset because someone said a no word or said something you don't agree with? Guess what? We don't all want to live with our head in the sand. And sometimes words, they might hurt, but they're not going to kill you. You know what's going to kill you? Bad policies. You know what's going to kill you? Fentanyl over the border. You know what's going to kill you if you're living in Missouri? Looks like these gangs. If you're in the wrong area at the wrong time. And these are things we have to fight for, right? Because again, these people are protected. They're behind their pearly gates. They're behind with their guys with guns, but you can't have guns. You know, they say all the stuff they want to say, but Mike, you and I can't say anything. Especially you, they want to shut you down because you right now you're the worst thing in the world to them. You're a Christian man who takes care of his family, who loves the Lord. How dare you be normal? Oh my gosh, how dare you actually be normal? You know, right. But keep up because you inspire people, and and I inspire people, but it bothers me that just living a normal life is inspiring people nowadays. Like we should be doing bigger things to inspire them, but such awful things are happening. The average normal stuff is inspirational, and we got to get to a point where we have true inspiration. We have true things happening.
Yeah, and I know, Jarrett, we have so much more that we want to cover on this show, but we're right at the very end of it, and we keep our show to an hour, guys. Thank you guys for watching. We're going to be coming back at you with some amazing interviews this week. Tomorrow we have Grace Glass, we have Vivian Ivy. You guys are going to love Vivian. She's been on some panels with us. We're going to be bringing her a lot more to you guys. She's part of our team too. And let's see, we got show. I think we're doing some entertainment stuff later in the week, and we're doing some sports stuff at the end of the week. So you guys, we got a packed week of content coming to you guys. But thank you all for watching. I wish we had more time on this show. That's what I gotta say. Thank you all for watching.